Oh, yeah. Guess what? 2 days. 2 days until the big event. 2 days until the TV guy, the reality show fella, becomes president. 2 days. Like about 50 hours or so. And I understand there are people who are like, oh God, oh my God, the world is going to come to an end. And they're full of hate, some of them. Other people, maybe, that don't say that the world's coming to an end. Maybe there are people that are saying, oh my God, the nightmare will now begin. Or, something like, well, it's about time we get, a guy in office that's going to, take care of business and bring back the republic and restore the republic and our freedom. I doubt it. And there are those who are saying, it'll be like the end of the world, like World War III, and, humanity is damned. It'll be a nightmare. Donald Trump is a bad guy. Maybe he is. And maybe he's a bad guy for reasons that we don't even know. Maybe he actually murdered 6 million Jews. I doubt it. That was some dead guy, 60 years ago or so. 60 some years ago. In Germany. But did Donald Trump, well, I'm just saying, I don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm pretty sure that the bullshit will continue. And the destruction of humanity and certainly America will continue. Because I think that boat has already left the harbor. I think that rocket has already been launched. I think that we're already heading towards, Doom Nation. That's a nervous laugh, not a funny laugh. I mean, it's like, what the hell? What the hell have we done? And then what the hell have we not done? And what the hell have we done or not done that we should have done? For example, maybe we should have done something about this insane, criminally insane government, the federal government and state governments and local governments. They're all in cahoots and pretty much equally guilty of crimes against humanity, acts of terrorism. The thing that the government, the federal government, for example, is always on. Oh, we got terrorists. We got to protect the country. We got to, provide for the national security. You know what the word national security means, don't you? It means the government, nation. The word nation means government. Words mean what they mean. And, believe it or not, people actually argue about that. Words don't mean what they mean. Seriously. Really? What kind of fucking moron would actually say, oh, words don't mean what they mean. Here's it. Here it is. And exactly. It's laughable. If it wasn't sad. If it wasn't just plain, simple, fucking insanity. Let's just take a couple of examples of insanity. All right? Let's see if we can just kind of put some things in perspective here. Let's see now. Back in the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s, in Europe, in a place called Germany, there's a German pronunciation for that. That's like Deutschland. I don't have that exactly right because I don't have a German accent, but something like it. Spickety Deutsch. I've heard that. You probably heard that. Maybe you heard it in a movie. Let's say Humphrey Bogart movie. Spickety Deutsch. And Achtung. Fräulein. So that happened. That indeed happened. Now, excuse me, but I've got the sinus thing is going big time here. It's a bit damp outside. And it's January, and it's not white stuff. It's not snow. It's rain. Humidity is thick. So naturally, my nose and my sinuses, and thus my throat, which affects my voice, is not up to par. So we'll try to tolerate it and do the job anyway. The show must go on, as they say. Well, actually, it mustn't. Doesn't have to. It could just very well not go on at all. It could very well just not exist. In fact, I could be a figment of your imagination. Or you could be a figment of mine. Because here I am in my studio, and I'm recording this at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, January 18th, 2017. An amazing feat of accomplishment is the fact that I'm here, but I'm anywhere. So, back then, Adolf and his political philosophy rose to power, and I'm fascinated by that. I read Mein Kampf, My Struggle, and to be honest with you, it was boring because it was just a lot of redundancy. Hate Jews, hate Jews, hate Jews, hate Jews. We gotta kill, hate Jews. We gotta hate Jews. We gotta exterminate Jews. Just like over and over and over again. It was redundant, and I struggled. It was Mein Kampf to get through that book, but I did because I felt obligated to at least listen to it. I mean, get the gist of what he was talking about and what his ideas were, and why he did the monstrous, horrendous things that he did and caused to happen. Monster. Absolute raving lunatic. Evil, criminal, insane. And see, this is something that I can't really grasp. Hold on, I'm going to take a break for a second. Well, a minute or two. I'll be right back. My point is, Adolf Hitler was undoubtedly insane. A monster. And yet, and it would seem, looking back and observing history and seeing what was going on and how things happened and what happened, the consequences of what happened. And in spite of whatever might be the so-called purpose or intention or goodness that might appear to be associated with certain aspects of the Hitler reign of terror, and there were reasons that were perhaps quite valid and sound and rational, logical, even realistic to some degree. If it just wasn't for all the murdering, if it just wasn't for all the genocide and homicide, if Adolf had simply not tried to exterminate a lot of people, if he hadn't directed Germans and collaborators of other nationalities to engage in crimes against humanity, he might have actually accomplished his goals, lacking the insane stuff like hating Jews and slaughtering them and so forth. I'm just saying, if it wasn't for all the, insane stuff, maybe he had a good idea somewhere in there, in the part that, like, oh, well, we need to, save our country. Now, I'm not apologizing for Adolf, and I'm certainly not going to promote his insanity. And I'm not even going to promote or even condone his ideas of nationalism. Nationalism is to me, a very bad idea. But throughout history, human history, there have been nations and nation building and national, like a consensus of people in a particular area saying, "Oh yeah, we're French and we're proud and we love our country," and so on. I don't think people in America can actually say that about America anymore. I mean, maybe at some past time they were, insane enough to say, "Oh yeah," or lacking wisdom and knowledge and understanding and the ability to think logically and rationally, and say, "Yeah, I love America," and it's rational to think back and say, "Yeah, that was common, that people they loved their country, and they wanted their country to be, nice and a place where they could live and have family and raise their families and do their business, live their lives, and enjoy life a bit, and live in peace and certainly freedom in the case of America." And I think honestly that there are places on the planet where, other than America, that actually thought, It'd be nice if we could just be free and do what we want and not get slaughtered or tortured or murdered or whatever. We just want to, raise our cattle and have some kids and, do a little fucky thing with the old lady. And, dance a bit. Maybe around the campfire or the bonfire or the whatever. I'm thinking of the Fawn. The name of the group is Fawn. I believe it's a German group. Maybe not. I think it is. I'm not sure. Anyway, music is cool, I think. So why is it that people, the whole bunch of people that live in a certain area, geographic area like America, for example, would think it's all right to, support a fucking lunatic and his crazy, insane ideas and, put him in a position of power and authority over people. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump specifically, directly in that way. But I don't think there's any doubt the man's a lunatic. I'm hoping that everything works out very well and that, Donald does not destroy humanity or the planet or cause events to occur that lead to, say, World War III, which is going to be like, talk about Armageddon. It would be pretty bad, I think. Now, maybe we're just overreacting, us folk that think about and talk about the, World War III. But there's just too many nukes out there for that sort of thing, like a world war, to occur without some of those nukes getting boomed up and then, creating chaos and mass death and destruction. I just think that, you've got to be fucking insane to, shoot off a nuclear weapon at some other place on the planet. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Oh, yeah, well, let's have some nukes and then aim them at people and then say, you better stay in line, boy. You better stay in line, I'm saying. You better stay in line or we're going to just nuke you. Boom, you're gone. Wiped off the face of the earth. You're like, Moscow, gone. Or like, Japan, those two towns in Japan, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. Boom, gone. History, gone. And, 100,000 people dead. And if you didn't die, you probably were like praying to die from the consequences of being in and around, a nuclear explosion. That's just insane, by the way. I mean, I got a nuke. I'm going to set it off. Boom. Drop it on some country somewhere. Could be just me, but I think if you even think about it, if you even contemplate it, if you even threaten to possibly do it, if certain circumstances were to come about, you're fucking insane. Seriously. I mean, well, I got nukes and I might use them. You're insane. I'm sorry, but it's fucking insane. There's no way to justify that and say, that's just perfectly rational. Let's just blow up the human race and destroy the planet and, be gone forever and ever and no more human beings. Except maybe for a few mutants that were living in a cave somewhere for a while and didn't come out for a long time after the nuclear blast wiped out humanity. It's insane. So anyway, this I believe in my country. I believe in nationalism. I believe in national security. Guess what? National security, and Donald Trump is going to say it. He's going to say it a lot. He's going to be talking about national security, meaning the government. It doesn't mean anything about the American people or America or the land called America. No, it doesn't mean that. Maybe it meant that back, like 100 or 200 years ago. But it doesn't mean that now. Because words mean what they mean. And national means, that hypothetical or imaginary or abstract concept of a bunch of land, with borders, and this is the country around here, and these borders are the country of America. East Coast, West Coast, North border, southern border with Canada, and the southern border with, Mexico and so on. We won't even talk about Hawaii and Alaska. Like those are really states. Just want to point out something here. What I'm talking about. What I'm thinking about. Hawaii was a free, independent, sovereign, kind of like free country. I mean, as I understand it, it was like a democracy or something. There was like, they lived and they were free and they did what they wanted, and apparently they had a lot of fun, like enjoyed being naked and sex and stuff. Like natural, decent human beings. I don't know if they went there. I mean, I don't know. I've never heard any history of the Hawaiian people before, like 100 years ago or so, who actually were like, lopping off people's heads or burning them at the stake or I don't remember reading about that anywhere. Where the Hawaiian government, such as it was had any great joy in committing genocide against its own people or anybody across the sea or whatever. I'm not painting Hawaii at that time as a paradise, but about as close as you could get, probably. I mean, I can't swear to it, but it's a far cry from what we have in Hawaii now and what we have in the rest of America now, because the rest of America as a whole is a fucking insane asylum. And it's not free, by the way. You're not free. And if you think you're free, you're delusional. It's a felony to talk to certain people. A felony to talk to other human beings. Now, you're like, well, it depends on what you're saying. It doesn't matter what I'm saying. If I'm saying something to another human being, I have the right to do that, and they have a right to listen or not, just like radio. Ironically, isn't it? Ironical. It's radio. And I'm like a radio. And I can broadcast my voice, my words, openly and outwardly into the universe, and other people might hear me. Like now, on the radio, or online, or, if they happen to be passing by my studio and they have their spying listening devices, like, who I'm talking about, the federal bastards, and then they're like somewhere sitting over on Harder Hill across from me, kind of hiding and camouflaging themselves into the woods and saying, we can hear what he's saying. Which is kind of weird, since all they have to do is turn on the radio, and the online radio, my radio station, and listen to what I'm saying. You don't have to spy on me. You don't have to get my is what they call it, not sleuth, secretly turn on my webcam and observe what I'm doing in my own living room, which is I have every right to do whatever I want, because I'm here by myself, so I'm not hurting any other human being, since there aren't any other human beings here for me to hurt. I can't violate your rights because you're not here. But ironically, the government can hurt me remotely by spying on me and then, probably like kicking in my door in the middle of the night and shooting my dog and beating my wife and I to death. SWAT team. And, if I'm going to die, I would at least hope that I could take out a half a dozen of these bastards when they came through the door. I'm not suggesting you shoot back. Well, I'm not suggesting you do a preemptive strike either. Don't shoot people. It's not a good idea. It's not a good thing. People get hurt and they die. Unfortunately, the cops, the pigs, the fascist Nazi Gestapo bastards in America hurt people, and they're just doing their job. There's a song back in the old days, back in the 60s, I think it was, maybe 70s. Just kicking in your door. You'd have to do a little research. Can't remember who that was. One of those rock and roll band people. I don't think it was Bob Dylan. Anyway, here's the thing. Adolf Hitler, and I'm pretty sure he was like mentally insane person. I don't think he was a healthy, well-balanced, intelligent guy. Nice guy. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But his idea was, we want to bring the country together. We want America, Germans to be for Germany, and Germany to be for Germans, and get all this fractionalness out of the way, and just everybody have to be unified into one country, one nation. Apparently the problem there was under one government, where everybody in the government were like believe and consistent with the fucking Nazi party idea. And so a lot of people were tortured and murdered and slaughtered, and genocide happened, and crimes against humanity occurred, and then they invaded Poland and all that shit. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you people? And then a lot of Germans were like saying, oh yeah, I love my country, I'm going to go fight. And like Adolf Hitler did. He was in the army or some military thing, and he went and he was shooting at people, apparently, in a war. I'll be damned. You think maybe it was World War One? Anyway, study history, do the research, figure it out for yourself. Don't take my word for anything, really. Okay? Don't. Just don't. I mean, that's just stupid. I can tell you the world is flat, I believe you, and then look around. We got the internet, we got satellites, we got, space stations and shit, like, looking down and like, you know what? It's not flat. I mean, who would not believe that? Who would insist, the world's flat? I know it is, I know it is, I know it is, and it sits on the back of a tortoise. Which crawls slowly through the sky. Who would believe that nowadays? And, guess what? Who would ever believe that? I don't know. A lot of crazy people, or, not too bright people. And someone said to me, I'm smart. You know what? No, you're not. Like, you believe things like, the world's flat, when in fact it's not. And it's obviously not, because we're like living in the 21st century. I'm guessing a lot of people aren't living in the 21st century. They're living in like the Dark Ages. Really. Still. I'm not talking about those Arabs living in the desert caves and whatever. Americans, redneck idiots, they're like a lot of people believe stupid shit. And they believe, oh, America, love it or leave it. You know what? The problem with that phrase is, that mantra, is that they say, hey, America, love it or leave it. And what they're saying is, I have to love it the way they love it, which is, of course, perverted love, since their love for their country is perversion, as opposed to actual love, like healthy, sane love. Because, if you're a sane, rational person, if you're actually not insane, not crazy, and you love your country, in spite of the fact that your country is pretty much a hellhole, a cesspool of insanity and disgust, the government, and the people are directly and indirectly involved in that. Like the thing, Title 18, U.S. Code. I mean, if you read it, if you actually read it and know and understand and comprehend it, and understand English, you actually think in English, and you actually write things in English, and you know what words mean, and words mean what they mean regardless, you know that the Title 18 is a work of total, absolute insanity. It's anti-nature, it's anti-English, it's anti-English, believe it or not. Yes, it is. Because it says words that are don't mean that. Like Title 18 is, we're going to make this law, and it's going, it's a felony to talk to people. Or it's a felony if, a minor, but they just use the word child because, everyone under 18, according to the government, is a child. Which, of course, is not true, because that's not what the word means. Scientifically speaking, child would be under 12, prepubescent. I mean, maybe a considerable amount, maybe 2 or 3 years younger than 12. I mean, let's put this, let me be blunt here. Once the girl, starts popping out boobs and growing hair, around her vagina, and starts to bleed on a semi-regular basis, telephone, I'm guessing they're not a child anymore. I gotta answer that. I'll be back. Now, you're probably curious about who that was on the phone. You're probably not. But anyway, let me tell you, it was a toll-free call. And it was like an 888 number. It was like a recording. It was like, I hate that. You know what? I hate it. I mean, they call you, it's a recording, and they start jabbering, and I don't want to hear it. You're fucking insane, stupid, ridiculous, absurd person. I mean, why would you even call me and play a recording? I think the phone is like a two-way thing. You call me, and I answer, and then you talk, and I talk. We talk. Telephones are not meant for recorded messages. You understand? I mean, if you call someone and they're not able to answer the phone, they're not home or whatever, and you're like, leave a message after the beep. Beep, yeah, hi, it's me, call me back. Yeah, sure. Or, hey, the world's coming to an end. Duh. Sorry you didn't get this message, because it's probably too late now, because by the time you read this, or hear this message, or play this message, you're going to be dead. Obliterated. Obliterated, by a bomb. Nuclear weapon. Set off by fucking insane people like American government people and God knows who else. Russian, maybe, and North Korean or something. Israel. Oh, don't even get me started on that fucking terrorist organization. Genocide is the only word I got for Israel. Genocide, die. You should be executed like all genocidal maniacs are. You're guilty of crimes against humanity. Bang, you're dead. I'm not a violent man. I don't engage in violence. I've tried to avoid violence my whole life. I've never murdered anybody. I've never killed anybody. I've never shot anybody. Never served any of these insane wars over the past 70 years of my life. 69 years. You know, like World War II, well, I wasn't even born. Korean War, Cold War, any number of wars. I was talking about Hawaii back then, previously. Back in 1893, you're not going to like this one if you're a Christian. And if you're listening to this and you're a Christian, you know, I can't even do it. You know, it's like, read my fingers. Morons. Fucking lunatics. Delusional, insane moron. Alright, so if you're listening to this and you're a Christian, I'm sorry. I mean, really, I'm sorry that you're a Christian, because that means that you're just not very bright. Seriously. Oh, you're just being mean and hateful, and you're just saying nasty things, D. Oh, yes. That's because it's a monologue, and I can, and because I just did. And if you don't like it, fuck you. Hawaii, you know, democratic place, you know, and people were free, and I guess they wore dress skirts or something. I think probably they wore those more like just like for the, you know, for dress up. You know, it's possible that they didn't wear anything most of the time. Just ran around, you know, just butt naked, and had, you know, swam on the beaches and had sex whenever they wanted, and were probably sort of responsible, but they had fun. And they did what they wanted, including talk to other people. I mean, just imagine. Do you think there was ever a time anywhere ever in human history where it was a fucking felony to talk to, let's say, if you were like over the age of 18 and you were talking to a 15-year-old girl, for example, and that's a felony? And they come up with all these, you know, fabricated, nonsensical, arbitrary bullshit ideas that, oh yeah, that's a child. Title 18, for the first time in history that I know of, that I'm aware, the word child has been, you know, defined differently than it's meant for, like, forever. Now it means, you know, a minor, someone under 18. Now, trust me, if you think that's not insane, there's something wrong with you. I mean, seriously, wrong with your brain. Suffered brain damage. No, the word child does not mean a minor, and it doesn't mean someone under 18. It's never meant that. I mean, legally speaking. So for the first time in American history, the word child means a minor, meaning someone under 18, meaning a teenager, for example. And it doesn't mean that, folks. It just doesn't. And if you go to the dictionary, like dictionary.com, and you see in there where it says that child means a minor under 18, you know, don't believe the dictionary, because that's not true. And dictionary.com is pretty big on this. Let's just say the word means something else because we feel like it, because we're assholes. And we're wanting to promote gibberish and babble and turn the English language into babble, and therefore the American people, for example, turn them into, you know, total delusional, retarded nitwits. I wanted to talk about something else. How come the heater's on? It's not that hot, not that cold. All right, it's on. It's in the background. And, you know, if you don't like it, yeah, deal with it. I'm sure my voice is louder than that. It sounds like, oh, you're in a jet flying over, you know, someplace. If I'm flying in a jet right now, I assure you it would be a chartered airplane, and I would be... What about this Donald Trump thing? All right. 2 days. Less than 40, well, about 48 hours. He's going to be sworn in and say, I take the oath to, you know, do the right thing and be honest and legal. And if I break, at the end of it, he's going to say something really disgusting like, so help me God. Meaning, you know, I mean, let's just say hypocrite. And then he's going to turn around and break that oath, violate that oath of office that he swore to uphold, and take seriously, and commit crimes against humanity and other things, because presidents do that nowadays. And so if he commits a crime, which would be like violating his oath of office, which he swore not to do, under penalty of death. Oh, did you not catch me say that just now? Under penalty of death. The oath of office is like, and why is it on a Bible? Why would that even be a part of? Never could figure that one out. I was a young kid. I'm thinking, why is he swearing on a Bible in a court of law? I thought it was like separation of church and state in America. Why would you swear on a Bible? I mean, what importance does that? Oh, by the way, Thomas Paine, over 200 years ago, debunked the Bible. It's total bullshit, total not true, totally ridiculous. It's not even the word of God, because that's just absurd. I mean, if you believe that, you're insane. Seriously, retarded and insane. Oh, you're calling us names. Yeah, I am, because I have a right to do so. It's called free speech, you fucking moron. I hope I can remember all these. I'll just play it back and take notes. But here's the thing: don't be a fucking moron. Yeah, that's like telling a rock, "Hey, don't be a rock. Don't be hard." I've heard the phrase. I'm sure you have. Yeah, leopard cannot change his spots. Yeah, well, maybe. In the immortal words of me, a smart man can play dumb, but a dumb person cannot play smart. Not can get away with it. Not unless he's surrounded by a bunch of dumb people like himself. I'm going to pretend to be an idiot. Okay. All right. Yeah. That, what's his name? Ernest Gump. Watch that movie. It's kind of interesting. Anyhow. Unbelievable, but still. In America, anything's possible, right? So anyway, just before my show's up here, I got about 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes, and so Hawaii was that, and then there was some missionaries, Christian missionaries over there, and they were like, we're like raising sugar cane and shit, and we were like, hey, we just want to own the whole freaking country, so we can just raise all the sugar cane and own it and belongs to us, and we can do what, I have a monopoly, because we're going to take over Cuba and own their sugar too. Missionaries, Christian missionaries. Now, for one thing, you could say these people are not really Christians. On the other hand, yeah, you can. They were asshole prick motherfuckers, and they asked President McKinley can you send some troops down here, because the natives are uprising and we're in danger. And so frickin' idiot McKinley sends troops, the Navy, down and, slaughters a bunch of native people and pretty much wipes them off the face of the earth. Genocide. Did I say genocide? Yeah, genocide. And the missionaries are responsible for that. And I just think that's just awful. But there are other cases where they're just individuals and small groups of individuals, like a woman and her children and the neighborhood children who actually tortured and murdered a 16-year-old girl who was like innocent, and it was horrendous. And I read about this when I was about 15 or 16, and it happened back in the 60s, 65 they say, and I don't want to talk about the details because it's just very depressing. And but you can look it up, and the story I'm talking about is, for example, what do I got? The Sylvia Lycan story, which stuck with me all these years, and thank God, in a subliminal way. So I'm just going to pause here and start on the second episode of today's show. I'll be right back. D. McClung, Archer Monologues. Stay with me.